Good evening and welcome to Vespers. I don't know about you. I'm kind of not ready for this week to be over. I know next week, looking at it, it's just kind of a sort of normal week, but I'm excited to be worshiping with you guys tonight, and I'm excited about everything that we've covered this last week. You know, all of the speakers have just been amazing, and they've spoken what I believe is God's word. It's been such a good time, and I hope you've had a good time with us. Tonight we have something really special. We have some music and two more amazing speakers that we're going to get to hear from and discuss with. But yeah, excited to be worshiping with you guys.
Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one we could ever praise. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. And holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. And I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken, and I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation, and I will put my trust in you alone, and I tree, bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy. When all of a sudden I am unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory, and I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. Oh, how he loves us so. Oh, how he loves us. How he loves us so. Love's like a hurricane. I am a tree, bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy. When all of a sudden I am unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory, and I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves. And we are his portion and he is our prize, drawn to redemption by the grace in his eyes. If his grace is an ocean, we're all sinking. So heaven meets earth like an unforeseen kiss, and my heart turns violently inside of my chest. I don't have time to maintain these regrets when I think about the way. Oh, how he loves us so. Oh, how he loves us so. Oh, yeah, he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves. Yeah, he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves. The head that once was crowned with thorns is crowned with glory now. The Savior knelt to wash our feet. Now at his feet we bow. The one who wore our sin and shame, now robed in majesty, the radiance of perfect love now shines for all to see. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Your gives way to him who is our peace. His final breath upon the cross is now alive in me. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. The tomb where their soldiers watched in vain was borrowed for 3 days. His body there would not remain. Our God has robbed the grave. Our God has robbed the grave. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. Your name is victory. All praise will rise to Christ our King. By your Spirit I will rise from the ashes of defeat. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. In your name I come alive to declare your victory. The resurrected King is resurrecting me. The resurrected King is resurrecting me.
Wow, the resurrected King is resurrecting me. I love that song so much, and I think it's so powerful. You know, our speakers tonight, Clint and Kate, we're kind of just sitting behind the scenes, chatting amongst each other, and we're just thinking like, wow, you know, we've missed this. We've missed worshiping together. Even though I know that we are, you know, all around the, you know, in our own rooms, and our speakers are over in Portland right now. So we're kind of all over the place, but we're still worshiping together, and I think that is beautiful. Our theme this week, you know, we've kind of mentioned it over and over and over again. You guys are probably, you know, when you haven't memorized by now, you probably have the verse memorized as well. But our theme is Together Again, and it's focusing on, you know, reaching out to Jesus and seeking him and pursuing a relationship with him. And the verse that we chose, you know, at first, you know, many of our speakers actually said this, but at first it seems a little like, wow, kind of blunt. But as you kind of think about it, it makes a lot more sense as you think about it, and it means a lot more. But it's James 4:8, and it says, "Come near to God, and he will come near to you. Wash your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded." And right now, I definitely relate with that verse. I don't know about any of you, but I definitely relate to that verse. When everything went online, we're still online, but that just kind of changed the way that I went about life, and I think it changed the way that you guys went about life as well. And in my own life, I saw, the amount of time I put towards Jesus decreased. And that's the exact opposite of what should have happened. I became putting, more focus into maybe my schoolwork, or, more focus onto YouTube now that I was just kind of hanging out at home and not doing a whole lot. And I became double-minded. I didn't, do as much as I should. And this week, more than ever, I don't know, has taught me that Jesus is reaching out to us. Alyssa today in her talk showed that picture of God reaching out to Adam, and Adam just kind of like half-heartedly reaching back. And I think that oftentimes is how we live our lives. We know God's there, but how often are we actually reaching out to him? And the whole point of this week was to encourage all of you, and myself included, Kate, Clint, and everyone who is involved. It's to encourage all of us to pursue Jesus and seek a relationship with him. And so I hope that, if you took anything from this week, and I know it's not over, we still have some great speakers tonight and church tomorrow, but I hope that if you took anything from this week, it was that Jesus is all that we need. John even says it in the Bible. He says, if all we have is God, then we have all that we need. So as we dive into, our speakers' words and their stories, just think about your relationship with God, and think about ways that you can tangibly take those steps of faith to coming closer to him, because that's what it's all about. But let's have a quick word of prayer. Hey, God, thank you so much for being present in our lives. You make our lives better, and we know that you are reaching out to us. And God, we just ask that, you be patient with us as we begin to reach for you. God, as we listen to Kate and Clint, just help their words, inspire us and help us see you through them. And, as we go about our lives through the rest of this week, I guess it's pretty much over. And then next week as well, and throughout the rest of this quarter and the rest of the year, God, I just ask that you are with us continually and that we see your presence. We love you so much. In your name, amen. So, I keep calling them out a little bit, Kate and Clint. But our first speaker tonight is Kate. And, I know Kate from a long time ago. She's been gone the last couple of years as an SM and now in Portland. But we used to work together in the dorm a lot. And, it was a ton of fun. And she's got a ton of cool stories I'm sure she's going to share right now. But, definitely listen, because she's super cool and has a lot of great things to say.
Hello everyone, my name is Kate Rude and I am so excited to be with you guys today. I don't know how many of you have heard of what Instacart is, but if you haven't, it's pretty much an app where people can shop for their groceries while they're sitting on their couch. And around April time while I was in quarantine last year, I decided to sign up for this, and it's pretty cool. I mean, you get this little deal on your phone. It shows you how much money you're gonna make from this one batch. It will tell you what store you're gonna be going to, how many items the customer has requested, and how mileage it is from the store to the customer's house. So you're gonna decide if you actually really want to take the batch. So pretty much once you want the batch, you can swipe to accept, and then you head over to the store, you get all their items, and then you head over and they give you this little green card, and it's like a credit card, and then you purchase all their items, and then you deliver it straight to their door. So it's pretty great. I mean, if you're looking for something that's don't have to have a schedule, it's a really great little thing that you can do on the side. So I've been enjoying doing that for the past few months, and each batch takes an average of about 1 hour, just depending on it. And I live in this little town of Pendleton, so it's just Safeway pretty much, and it's pretty nice because then I can just get to know the store and I'm more comfortable, and it gets quicker every time. A lot of the time each batch is not too hard. Some things aren't in stock and some customers don't answer, but for the most part it's not bad. However, there has been a lot of times, like a huge handful of times, that there's been crazy things that have happened. I mean, not crazy, but just things have happened that were not expected. I remember this one time, it was a few days ago, I was doing this, accepted the batch at night, and you know, I'm down there getting all this stuff, and then I check out and I head to my car, load everything up, then put the cart in the little cart thing outside. Then I navigate and I find the house of the customer. And with Instacart, they have 3 options the customer can choose. So one is to have the deliverer leave the groceries at the door, just leave them there, and then you take a picture, and the picture will be sent to the customer, notifying them that their stuff is there. The other option is for the deliverer to knock on the door, and then the third is to actually meet in person. But because of COVID, a lot of people have just been wanting you to leave it at the door. So I grabbed all the groceries, you know, set it outside the door, and took a picture, left. It was fine, not a hard batch at all. From there to my house, it probably took about maybe 7 minutes, and by the time I'm going up my driveway, it's pretty steep, so I all of a sudden heard some noise in the back of my trunk, and I was like, oh, that's weird. I don't have much back there, nothing that would be rolling around. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, I did not give her Gatorade. She bought an 8-pack Gatorade bottle. And I'm thinking, oh no, I just stole something. And after you're done with a batch, you can't go back. I mean, you can't notify or talk to the customer. So I'm thinking, oh no. So I stopped the car, I opened my trunk, and that was not the thing that was rattling. It was something that fell out of a crate. So I'm like, oh no. Did I leave it at her door? Was I right? Or did I leave it at Safeway? I was like, oh no. So I get back in my car, I was like, well, it's gotta be at Safeway, let's hope. So I run back to Safeway. I mean, by this time, it's already 45 minutes past. And so I get to Safeway and I look at the cart and I'm not seeing anything. But then as I keep going, I'm like, oh, I see the Gatorade bottle. And it was under the main cart. And so I jumped out of my car, grabbed it, took it, went back to the house, dropped it off, and anyway, stuff like that happens. One time I forgot my green card after the lady had scanned everything, and there was a guy behind me, and it was just, I left it at home in a different jacket pocket. Anyway, my phone had died while I was on a run. It was just, stuff happens, you know? It just happens. And as frustrating as that is, I still love it. I mean, I learn and I grow each time, and I find a new liking to this little side job, if you will. This kind of a little illustration, I think, kind of shows me just a little bit of like a relationship with God. You know, whether you're wanting to be in one, whether you are in one that's struggling or thriving. We are all imperfect beings in an imperfect world. However, the amazing thing is when I think about this really, when I focus on this, is that we have an amazing God. We have Jesus who understands that. Jesus was human, and even though he's perfect, he understands, and he understands us and our sinful nature. And as long as we have that desire, that want to get to know him, to be in communion with him, and a will to try, and trying can look in different ways. It can be singing a worship song, it can be talking out loud to him, it can just be in those still, quiet moments experiencing his presence. There's so many ways, and there's not just one to do it. This week, our theme is together again. And when I think of that meaning, together again means that it happened prior, right? So you're together, you separate, and you're together again. And in the Bible, there's so many instances of people who have struggled with their faith, such as Peter, when he denied Jesus 3 times, and that was out of fear. We see Moses doubting that God could use him to deliver the Israelites out of Egypt to the promised land. We see David, of course, a man after God's own heart, right? But he did wicked acts, and God still loved him, right? Yet even though these people struggled, they made mistakes. Things didn't work out. They were at lows, and then they were at highs. They would always go back to God, right? They would always have that desire, and they had that will to try again, right? And God's love and grace always prevails and always shows up. And that gives me hope. That gives us all hope that Jesus is the most wonderful thing in this whole world. And, at times, having a relationship with Jesus can be frustrating, can be discouraging. I've had lows in my own walk, and sometimes I get mad because it's like I lack that desire to want, which makes me mad, but it's that even though I have that desire, I lack that will to try. And so, God understands that, and all we need to do is ask, just Lord, help me, give me strength. And I love this verse. It's in 1 Chronicles 16:11, and it says, "Seek his face and his strength. Seek him continually." And that just gives me hope that if I try and if I have the desire, that I will be able to find him, and we will come together again, even in the darkest of times. So today, as you guys are in class, work, errands, friends, whatever it may be, I encourage you guys to find just a moment. It doesn't have to be long, just a moment to really start or to deepen that friendship with Jesus. It can be just even whispering his name. It can be taking a walk and just telling him, spilling something out from your heart. He loves to hear from us. And I think the thing that I want you guys to know is that, again, even though we are imperfect, we struggle, we live in this imperfect world, imperfect bodies, that God is perfect, and his love and grace will never stop. Let's pray. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for your ever-ending grace. You are a God that we all love and we all desire. And Lord, just be with everyone today as we go through the things we need to go through. Lord, in our darkest moments, our highest moments, and just the normalcy of life, I ask that we will want you and that we'll seek after you. We love you, Jesus, so much. Amen.
Thank you, Kate. I love what you said about, that, seeking God doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could even just be whispering his name and, maybe even singing a song. And I think those are all things that we can add into our lives so easily. It's nothing, crazy. And I love that. I love that. So our next speaker, Clint, he's a legend on campus, honestly. I don't know if any of you guys have gotten to know Clint at all, but unfortunately, he's not on campus right now. He's over in Portland, and we're missing him along with Kate. But he's gonna have some great things to say. He's always worshiping, and I love that. I love that. So please help me welcome Clint.
What's up, y'all? My name is Clint. I'm a senior nursing major here on the Portland campus. Salute to all my other nursing majors. I know it's hard, but I promise it gets better. Kind of. Yes, I'm in my dorm right now. And yes, it's barricaded. I don't know what else to say except for I'm in Portland. If you know, you know. But I like this a lot more. This is, even though I'm still just talking to a screen, it feels a little bit more personal than me just standing on a podium, lights on me, and just talking in the darkness. Hopefully you guys like this, because I like this a lot better. And again, just blessed and grateful for the opportunity to share a little word with y'all. And hopefully one of you guys can take something home. By now, the theme is probably cemented into your heads, together again. When I was looking up resources for this topic, I had to hit up the homie Google, but every time I searched something, it was a lot of rekindling relationships with past lovers, old flames type thing, not so much Jesus. So I think that just gives testimony to how complicated and how complex relationships really are. They're work. And I feel like especially at our age, young adult age, relationships are a pretty big part of your life. They can really shape and affect how you grow. They're interesting. Relationships are interesting. I remember freshman year, Jumpstart. We all know what Jumpstart is. It's where you shoot your shot. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That's just what it is. I was in a relationship coming into college, so I had to shield my faithful eyes from temptations. But I know a few that really took advantage of the weak. One of my buddies in particular, I met him on Monday. I'm not gonna name him for his own sake, but I met him on Monday, and by Thursday he had a girlfriend. Mercy. How are you gonna declare your love for a girl and you haven't even declared a major? I digress. But luckily, relationships with God, they're not rushed, and there's no competition. It's just you and Him. One of the biggest things I think we struggle with is time. As college students, we're always in a rush. There's always something due. Constant papers, assignments, projects, web work. It's just like craziness 24/8. And we're naturally inclined to feel like we got to meet certain deadlines. Like that due by 11:59, rent free in my head. That's all I see when I go to bed. Fortunately enough, God doesn't have deadlines. We're always in a rush, but God isn't. How much time we need, God's got it. He's steadfast. Everybody's got a hydro flask, right? Or some sort of insulated water bottle. If you don't, you need to. It's like, who doesn't have one of these, right? Just kidding. I'm not here to water bottle shame, but reduce, reuse, recycle. But I don't know about you guys, but I like ice in my water. I like it cold. So whenever the day starts, I fill this up with some ice and some water, and I drink a lot. So usually I gotta refill it up by lunchtime, whatever. But if I wanted to, I could save that water and it'd still be cold later on. A few hours later, the water's still ice cold as when you first put it in. Right before bed, if I wanted some ice cold water, I could still pick up the same water bottle, and the water is still gonna be cold from the morning when I put the ice in, right? But sometimes, you kind of forget about the water bottle, or you might misplace it, and 2-3 days later you find it again, or you come across the water bottle again, but it's not the same, right? The water, it's not that cold. You might still drink it, but it's not cold. It's warm. It might smell weird, it might taste weird, whatever. You're just less inclined to drink that water now, right? But the water's the same. No? Yeah. The insulated lid, the cap's on. It's still water. Nothing's changed about the water. It's just what changes is how we perceive the water, how it's consumed. It's kind of like God. We perceive and consume God differently. We get on this spiritual high, glacier, ice cold water, and then we kind of fall off. And when we come back, it's not the same, or so we thought. The water is still the same as when you last touched that water. Molecularly, I don't think the water's changed. The water is still water. God doesn't change. He's steadfast. But maybe we've changed. Maybe we've grown. Maybe we see God a little differently. I recently passed by my old apartment complex over Christmas break. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pull in, see, kind of get some nostalgia going. And I pulled up and I felt like a giant. Felt super tall. I'm not tall, but I felt like I was. Those stairwells, the sidewalks, the park, it all felt super small. I felt super not small. But it's still the same complex that it was 15, 16 years ago. Nothing changed. Just me. And we kind of reach this plateau with God, right? We get bored. Now, don't cancel me for saying bored in the same sentence as God. That's just what it is. We get bored. We put God in this box. That's not a box, but we're going to pretend it's a box. The same God that created the world in under a week, and we put him in this box. And that's why we got to mix things up. What worked before, it might not work again. Failed relationships, they fail for a reason, right? If we go into a flawed relationship in any capacity, platonic or romantic, with the same mindset, same strategy, you're gonna get the same results. History is gonna repeat itself again. That's why we gotta find something new, something refreshing to connect back to God. Maybe you want to write a journal of what all you saw today that was created by him. You might want to write a song about your spiritual journey. Maybe write a poem. You need to make sure to find out what works best for you, because you're special, you're unique, and you're loved. And this is kind of where, part of the message where the guitarist comes up and starts noodling and the piano's playing emotional chords. So just pretend, okay? But you need to make sure you don't compare yourself to others. Your walk is different from my walk. His walk is different from hers. The people that you see on TV, up front, circle church, second serve, all that, it's all different. There's 7.5 billion, 8 billion people in the world, and they all experience God differently. Don't compare yourself to others. I read a quote once that said, the fastest way to kill something special is to compare it to something else. Your relationship with God might not be perfect as to what others see, but that relationship is perfect for you. James 4 verse 8, our theme verse, right in the beginning it says, come close to God, and God will come close to you. That promise right there. We've given a promise right there. We've been given the security that if we choose God, in turn God will come. The best thing about all of this is that God's never left. Kind of like that water in your hydro flask. It might be different, but it's never left. From the beginning, he's been there. Your journey from God is far from over. You might just be starting. He's calling you to come back so that you and him may be together again. Thank you.
Dang, I love it, Clint. You said so many good things, and you threw some humor in there too. That's so good, so good. But I think you're totally right. You know, our relationship with God looks completely different than everyone watching. You know, my relationship with God looks completely different than yours and Kate's, and you know, and that's okay. That's how it should be. And I love the analogy of the water. You know, God is always there. He's firm. He's constant, right? And it's our job to kind of keep reaching him and keep seeking after him. Thank you guys so much for what you shared. And now I'm going to bring on Kate and Clint both live, and we're going to have a little discussion on kind of what they said, kind of like what we've been doing throughout this week. But first of all, how are you guys? It's been a while.
Pretty good.
Yeah, Portland's treating you okay?
It's okay.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned that in your sermon there, Clint, but I hope the barricaded windows aren't too depressing.
Yeah, it's keeping me safe at night.
There you go. That's a positive outlook. Well, thank you guys so much for what you shared and the stories that you shared, and you know, just your thoughts on what a personal relationship with God means in our lives. I want to ask you a question really quick just to get going. Why do each of you choose to follow Jesus?
I can go.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I mean, he created me. He created you and everyone else. He created the world, and it's so complex. Like, I can't imagine even creating like something super small. So like, think of a God who's like just has the most beautiful creative mind in the world. And even though we are sinful, we chose to sin and to rebel. His love for us has gone beyond our sin, and he died as me, as you, as everyone else. And I mean, who doesn't want someone to love them that much? I mean, I think as humans, we desire it so much to be loved and to share that love with everyone else. So that's why I choose to follow Jesus.
Yeah, I love that. Good luck, Clint.
I mean, for me, I like, I'm a pretty evidence-based type of guy. You know, all my nursing majors, you know that like we do a lot of evidence-based practice. And for me personally, I've seen God work through me, and it's been a lot better than when God hasn't worked through me. There's been things in my life that have happened that I'm grateful for, but I just wish they never happened again. And so there's, how do I say this? The paths and the directions you go get different results. And so I just choose God. It's what's best for me, and I know that the reason why he's chosen it for me is because it's for me. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think it was Kate who kind of brought up the idea of, you know, together again means that we were eventually with him, and then maybe we had a little bit of a break, and then, you know, went back into that relationship. I just want to ask you guys both if you've experienced times where, I don't know what's going on with the audio. It's a little wild right now. Have you experienced times where you fell away from him maybe and took a little bit of like a push or anything to kind of get close to him?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been in like a rut like the past few months, and you know, like everyone's been in a tough place, but yeah, I've definitely like slumped, and I've been really selfish with my time, and I mean, I'm human, right? Like, I feel like we all do that, but yeah, like the past few months, I just haven't taken that time to really like want to do anything. I just kind of like let it, you know, whatever, like Jesus loves me anyway, like it's okay. You know, his grace is, you know, when I come back to him, no biggie, like it'll be fine, you know. But really, when you really think about it, like it's not the best attitude to have. And so, yeah, I definitely experienced that. And I mean, yeah, so I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it.
I think the biggest struggle for me right now has just been COVID. Um, so the way I worship is through music. Zach, you and I have done music a lot together, and that's how I worship. That's how I experience Jesus in this full capacity. And so when COVID hit and the church doors closed and everything went online, my spirituality kind of just tanked. Um, I I'm a people person. I love people. I love talking to people. I love being around people. And then when you mix that with worship, it's just a good time. So when COVID hit, it was really hard to just kind of figure out um, really what my relationship was founded on. You can get up there and just play the guitar mindlessly, or you could be fully immersed. And so, me realizing that I was fully immersed, so when this all happened, I was devastated. But I think the biggest thing is realizing that, this God doesn't put his soldiers through anything that they can't take, right? So, clearly, everybody that's alive in this pandemic is meant to survive it, is meant to go through it together. So, um, um, like Kay was saying, it's kind of hard because I just kind of forget. I kind of get stuck in the rhythm of school, what assignments do next, and all that. But God reminds me. He constantly reminds me when I need to come back. Just like this talk, when I'm being asked to speak, I was like, dang, I need to get back. And so God works in mysterious ways, man. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel like I've said it a couple times this week, but before this week a little bit, you kind of like, there's no church anymore. There's no like you're saying, Clint, music is something I go to too, and there's none of that. We can't sing with our friends. We can't worship with our community. But this week has shown me more than ever that God is present through it all. We've had Bible studies through a computer screen. We've had prayer meetings through a computer screen. We've had these, and like, I don't know. The more I've like sought after Him through these meetings, the more I see Him. It's a pretty special time to be alive. At first I was like, man, COVID sucks. Like, I hate everything that's coming with it. But now I'm realizing how cool God is because He's working regardless. It's cool. But I have one more quick question for you guys. Really quick. What is your favorite thing about following Jesus?
I guess I'll go. Is that I know God's love for me will like never quit, and kind of like what I was saying before, like even though I do have sometimes that mentality in my mind, like, oh, God's grace, it'll cover me or whatever. Like when I do come back and I realize and I really spend time with God, like I do know that His grace does cover me and that He will never leave me. Like I could throw Him out the window every single day, and yet He will still want to be with me. And not only does He love me, but He likes me. Maybe not my sin within me and what I do, but He likes me, He delights in me, and He finds joy in spending time with me. And I mean, who doesn't want to spend time with a God who's like that? I mean, I do that, sometimes I don't want to do that, but yeah, I don't know. I think that's my favorite thing. It's just God, His all around wholeness is so pure and wonderful. And His love is just beyond anything that we could ever necessarily not earthly want, but I don't know. Yeah. So
I love that. Yeah, definitely.
Kind of piggybacking off of Kate. Not trying to steal your flow, Kate, but like you said, God's love never ceases, correct? And so for me, what I love about it most is that He gives us that choice. God's not forcing me to, to seek Him, to love Him, none of that. It's there. It's just a matter if we take it or not. God's not saying, hey, Clint, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. It's my choice if I want to. If I want to do it, I will. But He's just giving me so many different reasons to want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my biggest thing is choice. 'Cause one of my biggest irks is being forced to do something. And so I love God for his ability to not force himself upon people, but the unconditional love he has. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Both of you guys have such solid answers. Thank you guys once again for hopping on this call and sending in those videos. I definitely heard God through you. So thank you guys so much. And I guess I'll catch you guys later.
Yeah. Thank you, Zach.
Take it easy. Well, we're not done yet. We have one more song so that, we can kind of prolong this worship. So let's jump into that.
You unravel me with a melody. You surround me with the song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears have gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love has called my name. I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. You set the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God.
Wow. Well, I just want to say thank you all for worshiping with us throughout this week. I know it's not quite over. We have church tomorrow, but it's just been such a blessing in my life. And if you've gotten one thing out of this week, I hope it's that God is reaching out to us, and we just need to reach on back. So happy Sabbath, and I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow at church.